Dak Prescott, George Pickens, Quinnen Williams, DeMarvion Overshown, Kenny Clark. These guys on defense, these guys, Elijah Clark on special teams. Shit, our long snapper Trent Sieg coming up with a huge play. These guys went out there and took the football game from these dudes. I got to give them a hell of a lot of credit. We battled today, y'all. I'm so proud of this Cowboys team. I'm so proud of what they represented in Marshawn Nealon's first home game we've played since we lost Marshawn. Played with a lot of heart, fought to the end, and came up victorious. And I know he'd be celebrating the locker room with all these guys if he was here. I mean, what a sensational victory on America's Game of the Week. All the eyeballs there. We know what Philly has been, despite their internal turmoil. Does this send Philly into a spiral? Who knows? But a lot of these teams in the league have been so intimidated and afraid of Philadelphia's defense. A lot of these teams, good offenses like Detroit, that have just gone totally cold, couldn't run their stuff versus Philly. And I know it's a divisional game and it's a little bit different because you prepare, your teams are built to beat each other in division. So I get that to a degree. But we got to give Dak, George Pickens, and this offense, Javonte Williams, a lot of credit for once they got out their own way. Once we stopped doing the Turpin in the backfield and just proverbial nonsense, the coach is trying to get in the way. Once we got Schottenheimer out the way, these guys that are just shoddy, go over there. Dak and the people that know what they're doing. Once we get the play call, we can decipher what's going on, and we'll handle business and move forward. Once we got back to business, y'all, we were cooking. George Pickens was cooking. We did this in spite of a CeeDee Lamb performance where he's doing what he was on the same bullshit he was on in game one, dropping the football, not competing against these dudes for whatever reason. That's not the normal like catches that CeeDee Lamb makes in his sleep that all of a sudden he can't make versus Philly. Friday night versus Philly, no problem. We got a real wide receiver one in George Pickens over here, ready to step up, playing against two-man coverage, delivering. Crazy catch radius. What you want? Pay George Pickens. Pay George Pickens. Because you don't get guys that are 6'3", 6'4", that run the way he does, that have the catch radius that he does. There's not a lot of guys in the league that do what he does. There's not. CeeDee Lamb's not one of those guys. And CeeDee Lamb's great. He's a great player. I think they can definitely coexist. I think you make it work. When you have a unique situation like this with a quarterback who is dealing at the prime of his career, just like Cincinnati figured out how to pay both T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, Dallas figured it out with George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. We should be cooking. No doubt about it. We should be cooking. And today's comeback, fuck Philly. Fuck Philly all day long. Fuck them little ass kids who are out there stomping on shit, punching folks, punching bags and all that. That's how I know we still in their heads no matter what. After all the success they had, they don't do that shit against nobody else but the Cowboys. Because they know what time it is. And Dallas, I wish we could rise to the occasion more and channel this energy, because Philly's a really good ball club. They're obviously, reigning Super Bowl champs. If we could channel this energy and apply it to the whole NFL, if we could apply that to the Chiefs on Thanksgiving, if we could apply that to Detroit the Thursday after, we're playing 3 Super Bowl contenders in 12 days. We're now 1-0. Shout out to the Dallas Cowboys and this team for battling. So I give them credit. I give them credit. It was a fun night. Um, Damn near lost my voice. That's why I'm speaking at trying to keep my voice at a relative tone because it was one of those games. It was one of those games. Early on, thought it was getting away from us, couldn't get out of our own way. And then Philly, look, as good as Philly is, look at all the I'm glad that all the mistakes they made, we were able to capitalize on most of those things. When you decide to field a punt within the 5 yard line, yeah, we're gonna make you pay for it. When you commit the amount of penalties that Philly committed, yeah, we're gonna have to make you pay for that. That's what Philly did when we were penalized. They made us pay. That's what good football teams do. So, shout out to the Cowboys. Unbelievable win. Shout out to Dak Prescott, now all-time leading passing leader in Dallas Cowboys history. So, Rain Dakota Prescott leads us yet to another victory. So underappreciated for what he does because everybody wants to focus on salary and salary alone. But here we are, 5-5, 5-5-1. Uh, just hanging around, see what happens. I'm not saying playoffs. I'm not saying playoffs yet on this channel. I want to see how we get through this stretch. Like I said, 3 contenders in 12 days. Once we get through this stretch, we'll reevaluate and see if that's a realistic possibility. But so far, 1-0 in that stretch. Fuck Philly. Go Cowboys. How about them? Let me know in the comments how you feel. Hit that like button. Let's go.